Hi, I'm James Johnson. In this video today, we'll be talking about how to change a tire on a revolutionary tire changer from Hunter Engineering Company. One in specific that we'll be demonstrating today is this one right here. This is not a great picture, but basically it's a revolution and it basically does everything itself, right? It's a semi-autonomous tire changer, and it saves roughly 25% of time for a whole set of 4. These here are little rollers and pushers. And there's another top roller here, which is very important for the entire process of using the machine itself. And this one, in fact, unlike your traditional one, where a clamp comes out and that keeps it there, this clamp is a centerpiece, so you'd have to take out the center cap, and then it clamps down right in the center, just to make it a little bit easier and save more time. There are different types of tire changers. The most common one is this one here. It is the most basic one that you would roughly encounter. We won't be covering this one in the video, but it is also important to know. This one is really just like, it has these arms here. These arms will drop down when your tire is clamped to it, and it will help you assist you taking off the tire. On the side here is where you break your bead, and you have to have a tire iron in order to really get it off. And then there's not much assistance while doing it, so it usually takes a little bit longer in order to actually change the tire off of it. And then we will also be balancing the tires today with this Road Force Elite. We won't be using the Road Force function, as we don't really need to in the tires that we'll be demonstrating on. But it really, the Road Force kind of just allows you to get different types of information and everything off of the tire by simulating it driving on a road with this roller pin here. There might be a better picture of it somewhere on here. But these, unlike your traditional one, you don't need to put in any like measurements or anything. You kind of just set the tire on, and then there's a little like cap piece. You can kind of see it right here, right next to this guy's light here. But the cap will align to the center of the tire, and then you slide the tire on top of that cap, and then you put this thing on here, and there's these 2 little slits and everything that it clamps onto, and there's a brake, and that brake you have to press twice, and it pushes it, keeping in place in order for you to drop down the hood and start the balance. So when we come up to the tire machine here from Hunter, first thing you got to do, you set the tire on top, and there's this little pin here, right? It's like a little spring actuated one, and that shoots up into these little slots, so then that way you can line up your tire where this is perfectly in the center of this hole here where the little cap sits. And then take this thing right here. This is your clamp. Push this button on the top, goes right down into there. Push these away, push it right down. Make sure it's all centered nice. And then here's the pedals on the machine. This is the same exact one. All it does is go, and that just controls the functions here on the screen. So if I press go, that'll clamp, as it said, where obviously the green circle is, that's what it's going to do. And for the diameter, this pedal here, left or right, wherever you need to go. First thing you do after finishing, move this top roller right here, this little red circle here, moves the top one, move it all the way down, right where the TPMS sensor is. Push the tire down a little bit. You want to line it up with your finger, just right where it's even with the rim. There's a little bit of a gap, so then that way the machine knows where that TPMS sensor is, so it does not hit it. And then, as you can see, just a little bit of a gap there. It's flush with the rim. Okay, and then continue. Just press down on the go button to set that as a location, and then just hold down on the go button and start the demap. We're in the bottom. This is the bottom roller. This pushes up on the tire. This also pushes down on it. And then it just goes throughout the process of debeating. There you go. The tire is fully debeated. The hook drops down. And now it is currently going to try taking off the tire from the top. On this little hook thing right here, there's this silver little J hook that'll shoot down into the tire and it'll hook onto the end, like the little edge here on the tire, as you can see right there. I lift it up and pull it up a little more. And then for the bottom gear, you want to grab here, top of the tire, grab here, push back, so you create a little gap for the bottom roller. And sometimes it kind of doesn't go up all the way, so you kind of need to move it here, move it up a little bit, just so it doesn't really go into the rim, because you don't want to damage your rim. And then back on that go button, and it'll just spin. Now, tires can successfully take it off. Make sure it doesn't fall. Now, tires off. And usually, whenever you take off the tire or anything, I personally, I like to use some of this stuff here. This is bead sealer. It helps create a really good seal between your rim and your tire, so your bead doesn't leak air or anything, so you don't have to deal with that. It's very common on tires with a low profile. And to tell if your tire has a low profile, go here, where is the battery? So see how it goes 275? That is your width. This top here is 275, and then right here where it says 65, that's the width from right here at the rim to right here. A low profile tire would be like 40, maybe 45, and then ours for your rim size, which is in this case an 18.
Inside diameter.
This right here, usually you kind of want to look at it. You see there's a little bit of scoring on the sides here, but what you're really looking for is any pitting at all, which I don't think we don't
have an example here at the moment.
An example of that, but
pitting, just think of it like a divot from like corrosion and rust.
Yeah. And if we were to see that, we would grab this little
guy,
this little thing, and then we'll clean it up, make it as smooth as possible,
and then throw bead sealer on top of that.
Yep, which is really just essentially rubber concrete.
Rubber concrete.
All you got to do is just paint a radon in there. And then the main thing you got to worry about while doing this is just not putting a glob right above here, because if it ever gets on here, it'll mess with the sensor.
And then it won't work, and this would all be for nothing.
Exactly. And then we would have to come back, redo all this, and go on.
And go on with our lives.
And you don't need a ton of it either. You just need enough
enough
to cover the area. Putting the tire back on to make it a whole lot easier, we take some of this. This is just tire paste compound. It's basically, if you can imagine, it just makes this area that's touching this rim like slippery.
So it'll just seep right on.
Right on, real nice, and it also creates a better seal. It's like
it's dual acting.
It kind of seals, but it more so just makes our life easier while putting it on. The machine here can do it for you, but I found it just easier just tossing it on yourself. There's some tires where it's like you kind of need to use the machine, and what it would do is these are here. That's a pusher. This is just another like roller as pusher, and those would push down on the tire for you to help put it down. So whenever putting on a tire, it does depend on like what side you put it on. There are tires, majority of them, it doesn't matter. Like this I can.
You could flip it around either way, and it's going to be
or this side facing up. But in order to keep it like organized and just in case, like maybe it'll have to be in a certain direction, go with the barcode. Or there are some tires that have these little circle like colored dots. Those it could be yellow, red, and whatnot. Those, it usually means that side is facing outwards, and it could also tell you on the tire itself if it's facing outwards or not. Which those dots are also a tool for like balancing. So when you toss up those ones, you want the dot to be in line with the TPMS sensor, because they say that that is like the center spot for balancing, so you get a really good balance for the tire. It's not the most true thing in my opinion, but it's just what they say. So,
It is what it is.
it is. Set on the tire just like this, and then you just push left and right. And eventually, it will go on. But if it doesn't, what's happening now, spinning around with this machine, start pushing it, we're going to pass the lip, just like so, and then start moving.
There you go.
Drop right on just for you. And you're already halfway to setting on the top bead itself. Well, all you're missing is the mount head. But we need to leave this position. And then to the top bead mount, just press continue with the go button, the go pedal. Let go, push down again. The hook ring will drop down for you. Like in the top drawer. Then you push down past the middle of the tire in order for the top of the tire to go past the rim.
And you didn't hit that TPMS at all,
Nope.
right? Okay.
TPMS wasn't hit at all because the machine knows exactly where it is.
Oh, it still knows.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It knows throughout this entire process. It won't change at all until we hit reset or unclamp.
Okay.
And that just allows, you know, so in order for it to beat up, we are going to have to use the bead blaster, which is
Or-
essentially a large stream of pressurized air shot at a really fast pace. So you just set it up like so. and you just
Get the
shoot
air pressure coming in through the regular line
And-
too.
Yep. And in order to work properly, we need to be shooting air into it at the start. So. There you go.
Then it'll have to seat up fully too.
Yep.
More air we get into it. Yep, like that.
And then make sure with the bead blaster, the tank, after using, turn off the valve so the hose doesn't have any pressurized air in it, just in case when we're tap the trigger on the blaster. We don't want any injuries or anything.
Or hearing loss. I guess that constitutes an injury.
Yeah. It is pretty loud. It's not that loud for the person that's shooting it, but if you're not shooting it, it is quite loud. Next step is to take your core and your core tool,
But the
take
core.
off the air, put the core right back into the TPMS sensor.
Seal it up. And
All
then
good.
grab your.
Put the air, put more in it. If you just lost a few pounds of pressure, you're trying to put in the core.
And we'll s-
And then the screen here will tell you when the pressure is at what it's supposed to be. All you gotta do is just take it right off. Stand in a little spot right there. And then you're all done. And then all you gotta do is press the go pedal, find the clamp,
and spray it down with some soapy water to double check that.
double check your work, make sure that beads are sealed up properly and that the sensor that we just replaced
It's still sealing. Oh, it's right over here.
properly. Because if not, that could be really bad. And a lot of our time could have been wasted. This special feature has this little plate that this tire is sitting on that's supposed to slide left and right and raise up. So then that way you can bring it in easy. And then now, all you gotta do is bring it down a little bit. Make sure it's make sure it's in that little center spot. Take this here, slide it through, spin it until it clicks, and then this right here, this pedal, is our brake. Push that twice. This pushes in and clamps that down, And then you can release that. And then every time before you drop down the hood, you gotta give the tire a little spin in order to see if it has any type of wobble left and right. To make sure it's seated on that little spot. We put it on right. Give it a couple of smacks to make sure. This one looks to be all good. Now, for this machine in particular, all you got to do to start it is drop down the hood, and then it does the measurements and everything for the tire size, the width, the rim size, and whatnot, all by itself.
It wants an ounce on one side, on the inside.
This right here is road force, which is this big roller right here, and all it really does is just simulate like a car driving on the road and that friction that the tire gets. So then that way it gives you different like information about the tire, if it's a good tire. This over here is where all the weights are. These weights here in these little boxes, these are all for steel rims. The one that we have is an aluminum, so we take from this for the outside. And then it called for a 1 ounce. These scale by 0.25, so this is 0.25, 0.5, 0.75, and then 1, and then so on and so forth for the other rows. These here are sticky weights. They're two different colors. We got black and we got a gray, or white. And we use the colors according to like the tire. So the rim that we are currently working on, it is black. So if it needed any sticky weights, we would use the black ones. Now if it was gray, like this tire right here, or white, we would end up using these white ones, so then that way it blends in better with the tire and it doesn't stick out and be all ugly. Anyways, you tap on where it's calling that weight, it will move the tire exactly where you want it. Press the brake, and then you line up the weight with the laser, and you want to line it up right at the peak, just like so. Get it up to the lip of the rim. Then just give it a few little smacks with the hammer. Time, drop the hood. And then it should come out to 0 on both sides, and it would say OK, where the weights will last. And it did.
There you
It
go.
means that this tire is now perfectly balanced.
Ready to be thrown back onto the car.
And then I'll take this off, just push down these two little things on the side, and it slides right off. Set it down, and then set down the tire. So in conclusion, learning how to change a tire off of a just regular base tire changer where it doesn't have any of the fancy features as the one shown in the video has, and just learning off of the one that was shown in the video could help save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, including the balancer. And doing it properly can be really, really important, especially since tires are the only reason why our cars are able to drive on the road properly and not swerve onto traffic or cars hum to the ground, or just get us to work safely. And taking, for example, learning how to change these tires could help save the rider's life, being that they have zero protection from anything. There's nothing protecting the side of them. There's no roof over the head. There's nothing. No seatbelt, no nothing. And being able to put on and take off and balance these tires properly can really save the motorcycle's life.